I have a package that does not fit in the frame, but it doesn't matter. It was a very spontaneous purchase that I can count among my economic purchases that is very cheap. I bought this horse under the influence of my wavy. I came to the conclusion that if I did so well with her renovation, I will try to save one more walking horse. And here it is. 2006 walking Tawny horse. There is no mane and a trim tail. There is also no equipment. The woman's saddle is incomplete, broken and sewn together with a thread, an interesting pattern. However, it is useless. Of course, it was my choice to buy a horse in this condition. Because the horse is battery operated, I can't throw it into the water. I will clean it with wet cleaning wipes. Time to get rid of the tail hair. Unfortunately, when using pliers, part of the hair breaks and stays inside of politely leaf. I have to pull hair out with my hands. This tail is not as easy to remove as sprints. As I mentioned before, the hair breaks easily. It is quite thin and internal protection blocks it firmly. I tried to find the middle and tried to pull them out from the inside. After removing a part of it, it gave up more easily. I do not recommend this. It costed me a lot of patience and time. The tail was secured with strings and a plastic ring that was not easy to pull out. The mane is cut so short that it is difficult to grasp it. I'll try to break the lower neck joint. I try very hard not to break anything else. I did it. Now it will be a little easier to maneuver. What a surprise! There is almost no foil base here. The hair looks glued. They just crumble under the pliers. And we have a horse with no hair. Here is what's left of the mane, a pile of shreds. Here is new hair for the filly. This time I will use the previously purchased handmade. This hair made a better impression on me out of the box. They are more pleasant to the touch, they do not freeze. I measure the amount I want to use and fasten it. Before I mount it on a horse, I will wash it with a delicate fabrics detergent. I rinse it in hot water and then in very cold water. Finally, I will soak them in water with a fabric conditioner. After washing, I don't see much difference in the texture of the hair. As with any Barbie horse, there is a bar inside, through which the tail's hair is threaded. In order to mount the tail firmly, first I thread a wire over the bar. Now I thread the hair through the wire loop that has been created, and now the worst part. I have to pull the wire out so that the hair is threaded through this bar inside. It is really very difficult, much more difficult than in the case of the sprint, because there are protruding joints and screws inside, which effectively make this operation difficult. And I want the horse to have a beautiful and thick tail, so I took almost as much hair as possible. Crochet hook is an invaluable helper. Again, my plan was successful. Now I'm going to comb the hair. I will secure them with a tether. I'll cut the uneven ends and the tail is ready. And you can even see the tie. Here I have hair from which I will separate the finer strand. I bind the strand with a thicker thread, then glue it with a hot glue. Prepared in this way strand I put aside. In this way I prepare strands from all the hair that I measured for the mane. I have all the strands ready. I had planned that this mare would have a fringe, and I would like it to be arranged on its own. Therefore, I will select the thickest of the strands and put it aside. I will stick the strands together to create segments of the mane. This time I glue them on the other side than on my chestnut. Then I glued them side to side, and now front to back. A strand, which will be a fringe, I attach at an angle to the first segment of the mane. And I am starting to create further segments. I have all 3 segments ready. Now I will straighten the bonding of the strands with the glue on both sides. At the end, I will add a little bit of superglue to each part of the mane. The mane is ready. Just before installing it, I cut off the strings. I have to widen the main crevice to be able to slip the strands into it. I start with this one with the fringe. The mane came out very dense, and this complicates its assembly a bit. Here it is. The mane is really very dense. The thing about new hair is that it sticks out over the head, so I will pacify it with my hair dryer. I noticed that hand-on hair has nothing to my color dryer. When it comes to styling, it gives up, but the texture remains unchanged. I've prepared a new bridle, rinse, saddle pad and decorations for the filly. I did all this by my hands. I start dressing her up with the bridle. It is made of silver leather-like material and fastens with a hook in upper ring. Then a denim saddle pad and a silver saddle. As I style them, I brush the hair back and check to see if it's not covering the decorative flowers. I arrange the saddle pad so that the saddle does not rub against the horse anywhere. The saddle is from a fake Cali horse. This horse probably belonged to a clone of a Barbie doll named Defa Lucy, so I named the filly Lucy. I fasten ornaments with flowers on rings on both sides of the bridle. I fasten the hair clips on the mane. The reins are fastened with hooks on the lower bridle rings. Finally, a large decorative tail clip. This is how Lucy marches and plays. She is fully functional.